just had a couple of minutes on that occasion to talk about it, but I really, really, really wanted to ask you to come back and let us know much more. And funnily enough, in the course of speaking with you and my sort of endeavors to learn a little bit more about Rahanni's Celestial Healing, I learned that there's so much more to what you do, Anna. You have been on, and really this evening is all about this, the wonderful transformative journeys that we take at this stage of our lives. The wisdom years bring us that opportunity very often. Many times it's really picking up on the wonderful kind of things that you know, inspired us when we were young, that we would put aside, and then we have this opportunity as we become older to maybe evolve and grow and develop and transform, and eventually grow into what we call our soul gifts, which I'm clearly, looking at you and listening to you talk, Anna, I'm really looking forward to the members finding out a lot more about what you're doing. You've had one of those sort of experiences where you've got into the flow and the right people and the right time seemed to turn up in your life. Excuse me while I just put you up on, I don't know about anybody else, I like to have the speaker as the full screen. Now, that's great. So now, Anna, I'll see you when you speak there. Has everybody got themselves on mute? Sinead, darling, are you on mute there? Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, that's lovely. Anna, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Trina. Thank you so much for inviting me back to speak. Oh yeah. So Rahani, I mentioned it the last day that I was on it. It's a new modality that I hadn't heard of either. I had previously tried Reiki. I was telling you my story. I was telling Trina my story. I had heart palpitations, and I went to every doctor, had every test done, and eventually after 3 days in cardiac care, the consultant came and said, listen, get up and go home, because whatever's wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with your heart. And even on the monitors was saying that my heart was racing. There was nothing they could do. So I thought there has to be an alternative, there has to be another way. So I decided to go for Reiki. And the girl doing the Reiki said to me, look, there's no point in you just having treatments and having treatments. Learn how to do Reiki 1 and you can do it for yourself. So I set the intention. What I wanted was a regular heartbeat. And lo and behold, after the weekend of training, my heartbeat returned to normal. And that was my introduction into the world of, we have everything within us to heal. We have everything within us, and we grow up in a world where you're told to, you know, sit up, pay attention, conform to systems, and not go inward, and not use your intuition, and not use what you know is happening within your body, because it doesn't feel safe. You know, and number one, with anything like this, it's about getting to safety. So the years passed and different things happened, and it has always been kind of on the periphery. And then I obviously had another kind of life-changing event where my children got sick, and I thought, right, I really have to go into this, and I really have to look. So Rahani, I came across, you know, when you're meeting people and, you know, you have a conversation, the simplest thing can just resonate with you, and you prick up and think, what's that? That means something. I need to go check this out. So I came across Rahani, and I trained with a lovely woman in Moat called Terry Clark. Rahani is very much like Reiki. These are modalities where we are channeling light energy through the vibrations, through frequency and vibration, because we're all made of light. If you look at the very, you know, mitochondria of our cells, it's light that's in our cells. So we are light beings, if you like, technically, you know. And so Ra is the Egyptian sun god, and Hani means favored grace. And the practice of Rahani is about bringing things into balance, and grace is about balance. It's about bringing our bodies into balance, our vibrations, our energies, our connecting back into ourselves. The 3 principles of Rahani are truth, love, and compassion. And it's about raising your vibration at every level, you know, being in your truth, you know, dealing with love and having compassion for yourself and others.
And I take it, Anna, that really it begins with yourself, the
Yes.
truth, compassion, etc.
Yes.
Begins with yourself. And it's really interesting that you mentioned, if you don't mind me just popping straight back to Reiki, but then please go back onto the Rahani, was that you said that when you trusted that it worked for you, when you saw the results for yourself, you were able to move forward and realize that this healing was something. In fact, the words you used was, we all have it within ourselves to do whatever it takes to heal our own body.
Absolutely.
And I just want to bring you back a little bit when you say you discovered or you came across Rahani. What was it about it that resonated with you? Why Rahani and not Reiki or well? And I know that it in fact.
Well, so when this energy world is a whole new world for me. I come from a business background, accounting and everything like that. So this was kind of, I was just a regular gal doing as I was told, going to work, coming home, doing my thing. And it's just when I was looking for answers within the medical profession and I couldn't find them, then I went and met, Nicola, who was the Reiki teacher. And then you meet other people who are into Reiki and have been into yoga and into this for 20 years. Like I'm going, where has this been for the last 30 years? How did I not know about this? And I met a woman and she said to me, your hands are very powerful, because I was just saying about healing through the hands. And she said, have you ever heard of Rahani? And I said, no. And she said, you need to Google it. You need to look it up. So of course, that's what I go and do. And it was something as simple as like a simple conversation can lead to another and another. But it's that curiosity. I'm not afraid to go and learn and try and find something new. And there's a lot of practitioners in the UK. There are a good few in Ireland, but that's it. Around the rest of the world, America, Europe, it's not there. So we're emanating from here, if you like, with Rahani.
I love it. And I love that somebody came to you and said it and you picked up on it. So you were open to this. Obviously, you mentioned before that because you slipped into the flow, you just said there now, because I wasn't afraid to explore, you were wide open to whatever guidance, signs or suggestions were being made to you. And so this is why you followed the Rahani. Obviously, it resonated.
Yeah, absolutely. And the healing, when you go into any of these modalities, they're all offered for the higher good of ourselves. There's no ego. It's very seldom you come across people with an ego thinking I am superwoman and I'm going to heal this. No, it's not like that at all. It's whatever in our highest and greatest good. Growing up in the world, when was anything in the system, like in the schools and in the church, for our highest and greatest good? No, it wasn't. It was to get results. It was a very much results driven orientation, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work all the time, and you can't push everybody through the funnel. So there is always an alternative way. And the first principle of Rahani is truth, and truth is a vibration. Truth is something you can feel in your body. If somebody is talking to you and the line, now, you can't just quite put your finger on it, but you feel it. Your gut instinct says, this is not right. I'm sensing something. So it's about getting back in touch with the senses of your body. And it's the same thing, little children, truth resonates. They know when an adult is lying because they actually feel it physically in their body. And it's the same with safety. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel things are right, if somebody's afraid of spiders, I take away the spiders, they're still not going to feel safe. Because you can remove the threat, but the perception of being safe is in our bodies. And how we get to that place of safety physically is through our breath, breathing. And that's the other very powerful lesson that I learned. The cells of our body have two functions. One is to alert us to danger, a threat to life, and the second is to heal. And they can't do both at the same time. So if the cells of our body, if we're on high alert, if we're stressed and we're shallow breathing, the cells of the body are on high alert. Raise the danger, all senses are on fire, here we go. But when we breathe into our body and we relax and we calm down and we get into that, that deep kind of safe meditation place, the cells of the body go, okay, no danger, time to heal. And they just go about repairing the cells of the body.
Love that.
Very simple. But very true. And again, how do the cells know what to do? Because they can feel our breath and our vibration. When we vibrate at a certain frequency, we're either in fight or flight or we're in healing mode. And mainly in sleep. That's why sleep is important, to get 8 hours sleep, because your body calms down, your body relaxes, it's not on high alert, and that's when we heal. The cells renew and repair during our sleep. And they do that with physical energy and emotional energy and mental energy, because the brain cannot tell the difference between physical, mental, or emotional pain. It only knows there's a threat to life, there's danger, and off it goes.
Very good. Lovely. So how are you using this now within your own practice? I know that you have a lot of healing practice, but and if I can jump to something, what was it within you that brought you to healing? Why was that the interest area for you? And we talk about it, and I've mentioned a couple of times in the letters, etc. as well, that we're talking about our listening, to our soul gift, to listening with our highest to our highest wisdom. What was it you followed? What was your curiosity there?
So my children got diagnosed with incurable autoimmune diseases, and the shock of that diagnosis was horrific. And learning about that, and discovering how, when the medical professions say it's incurable, it doesn't mean it's incurable. It means they haven't found a cure. There's a big difference. And one answer can bring you fear, and the other alternative can bring you an openness to receiving anything that's out there. You know what I mean? Yes. So that's how I really got into looking at alternatives, how our bodies work, why parts of the body shut down, learning about trauma. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to heal my children. Well, guess what? They don't need healing. I do. Because it is never about anybody else. It's always about ourselves. I would love to go out and heal the world. Disappointingly, it's not my job. If we do nothing else in our lifetimes, only heal ourselves and continue to raise our vibration to that state of grace, then that is a life purpose worth living. There's nothing more to be done. You know what I mean? So I really feel a lot of the times we feel that we have to be in service to others. We have to go out there and help people. No. Work on you, and everything emanates from there.
Absolutely. So that's where the joy and the purpose and the fulfillment comes from, when it's your gift, what it is that you have brought to the world, and you use that sort of joyously in service to other people. I love that you say the example. In a sense, that is what we are. We can't do so much for other people, but we can be the example of everything we wish for them.
Absolutely. And like anybody that I'm working with, and we can talk about light, we can talk about presence, we can talk about all those things, but it's about feeling it. The work is physical. You can call it spiritual, you can call it emotional, whatever, but it's physical because it's something that you actually physically feel in your body.
Okay.
Feel it because you know it, and it's part of your inner essence. And when you raise your vibration, you can physically feel it. You have more energy, you feel great. You're emanating, and people say, you look well, you look so bright, what are you doing? But everything, in your vibration raises, and it just emanates out from there. And I say to people, listen, the lighthouse doesn't run up and down the beach looking for souls to save. It stands still there in its presence, beaming away, battered by all the elements. It doesn't know how many souls it's saving, but it knows that if it dims its light for 1 second, many souls will be lost. So if your job is nothing else, it's only to shine brightly.
Love it. That's a beautiful one. Let's all hold that one in our hearts. That's beautiful. And tell me something. Do you want to walk us through what a Rahanni Celestial Healing feels from your perspective, or from your client's perspective?
So again, it's a hands-on treatment, and so I have been attuned to it, like you are attuned to Reiki. You have an attunement where you receive the symbols, and you receive like an initiation into the light energy by a master, by a Rahani master. And so you then are channeling Lord Melchizedek, Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy, and Lord Melchizedek and Kuan Yin, and Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael. And then there are a host of 51 pink light ray celestial healing angels. And they surround the client, and they surround me in the healing room, and they have a beautiful pink energy, and it's almost tangible. It really is magical. You can feel there's a kind of a shift in the energy. It's incredibly warm. And then I just start with the top of the head, and I channel in whatever angel is there's different angels for different chakras. There's different, so you just start at the top of the head and move down the head very lightly. And when you're working with your hands and when you're working with energy, you can feel the tinglings, you can feel the shifts and vibration in it, you know, and the client can invariably feel something as well. They'll feel the energy shift, because there's very frequent areas in the body where energy gets stuck. And especially I find the knees. The knees hold our emotions, you know, and when people's knees are at them, you know, I can often feel a dense, dark energy around their knees. So if I'm, you know, and I feel when you're moving your hands, you can feel the temperature shift and the air shift sometimes. So I can just hold it in certain places, because what I'm doing is, I'm not doing this to me, and I'm just a channel for the energy. If you imagine a light coming in and you imagine it channeling through your hands, you know, it happens, it's real. You know, I had one lady who just came in and you know, her knee was at her for weeks and months, and she was getting very distressed about it because she loved to walk. And when we were finished, I just trusted that she came to me, whatever is for her highest good will be. And afterwards we were just talking and she was saying goodbye. And I said to her, how are you feeling? And she said, fine. And I said, just drink plenty of water. And how is your knee? And she said, oh, I forgot about my knee. Yeah, it's okay. It's grand. It's grand. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. 2 weeks later, she texted me to say she was hiking up the side of a mountain. She couldn't believe it because it had shifted. And it's about trust, you know, and it's about, as I said to you, no ego. I'm not trying to fix her knee or do anything like that, but I trust that she's here for a reason and I'm here for a reason. And if I can help her shift her energy because she trusts me, then it will automatically happen. So I'm like a facilitator, if you like, you know, I'm holding the space.
Yeah.
And people invariably can heal themselves.
I love that, and it sounds like it's a very beautiful experience, but for you and the client, I think that might be. I imagine the idea. I mean, we'd like to feel that we can call in the angels to protect us, heal us, and all of the other wonderful things that's possible for them to do. But to actually have a practice that focuses especially on that, as you say, as a healing modality, it just sounds like the most beautiful experience. For everybody.
And it is, and the thing, it's something that I am now. It's not something I do. It's something that it's become completely integrated because it's so easy and it's so light and it's intention, and it just becomes a way of being, which is wonderful.
And one of the things that you have found as well is that now, for some, you've learned to trust the synchronicity, the flow, the signs, the conversations that open up some kind of, you know, new aspect for you to develop or whatever else. That's a really interesting part of it. So as a result of that, you have, you know, you can feel energy, you know, when it's necessary to bring your own energetic sort of vibration to a particular space or whatever else. Do you find that that's happening more and more? Do you find people are attracted to you for some reason?
100%, Trina. I can absolutely 100% tell you, there is no such thing as a coincidence. Everything is synchronized, everything is divine in its timing. And, you know, we were talking about grace earlier. The time that we're living on now, grace is returning to the planet. You know, and I don't know if anybody else notices this, but I think since COVID, since we've came out of lockdown, there is a more peaceful air about the planet. Do you know what I mean? There is grace, there is beauty. I have a 20-year-old son. He said to me, Mom, I was walking through town yesterday and I just said to the lads, guys, can we just stop for a minute and just enjoy the beautiful day that it is in the sunshine?
I love your boy.
And he said, you know, I just had a deep moment in Temple Bar and I just thought I'd share it, you know, because it was such a beautiful day. I think a lot of people noticed it was a really lovely day weather-wise, and temperature and everything was really nice yesterday. And I was like, wow, you know, and he's right. He just stopped and paused and wanted and it becomes a way of being in that state of grace. And when you're in it, you can feel it, you can trust it because you feel safe. You know, it's a feeling. It really is a felt perception.
I love that. And also the fact that I imagine that your sons cannot but be bathed in that kind of feeling or energy around you in the home, and probably listen to you.
I won't tell you what they call it. They call, Mum, don't be putting your hippie doo-doo on me or anything. but it's interesting because I do overhear conversations with their, you know, their friends, or if one of their friends is distressed. I've heard my daughter say, just breathe, just relax, get into your body and just notice just notice and I'm like, hello.
Well, I firmly believe that the younger generation, the kids today, are absolutely beautiful beings. I really, I really
100%.
I can't bear it when I hear people talk about young generation as though there's some, I mean, it's literally just an old mantra they're tripping off their tongue when they're talking about them as being, obsessed with their phones or their looks or their selfies, or whatever else. That I have not met a young person lately who is not joyous in some way. But also what's quite interesting is Grania Tyndall, who was on with us a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. Grania says, we are, and she and many others obviously, but she says we are moving into this beautiful age of Aquarius where the awakening is occurring, the enlightenment is, available for all of us. And it's lovely. I think the more we notice it, the more we generate that, as you say, grace or essence throughout. And other people
And to allow us, to allow us, because we live in a society and systems where conditions are put in place, and everybody wants to feel unconditional love. So the difference between love and unconditional love is the conditions. If we remove the conditions, then we have love. But we've built up so many barriers in life and society and ways of doing things that we've forgotten the essence of who we are. And it's not a quick and painless journey back there, but it can be done. It's possible.
Absolutely. As you said, when people are fear-filled, there's no place for that. But fear transmutes to love, or fear is dissolved with love, and that is the next way forward. I love what Trina Hannon has said, that the best explanation about the lighthouse. Wow, thank you, Trina. I bet you wrote that down. That was one of those really good ones.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's a really good one. And Sinead Horgan, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know what a chakra was. I didn't know there was such a thing as masculine and feminine energy. I've been so delighted to find out all of this, and I'm so hungry, and curious about it. And darkness is the absence of light, and we are light beings. So all we are doing is dissolving any dark energies that come up, you know what I mean? Any past traumas, anything like that. And I think women particularly, so they talk about feminine energy. So we're women, we're feminine energy. I have to say, I would have had a very masculine energy. I was very businesslike, all my life in business and work and everything like that. And lost my train of thought now, what I was going to say. Yeah, it was about the feminine and the masculine. And really it's not about a battle, it's about merging the two of them. It's about finding that balance within them. And if women, there's no other creature on the earth that can process pain like a woman can, because we know what pain is. We receive it every month. And when we're having our babies, what do they get us to do? To breathe into the pain, to breathe into the contractions and process the pain. And when you come through that experience, you've just got joy on the other side of it. So we know instinctively how to process pain, how to get through the fear and come out the other side of it. Men can't do that. So men, more than anything, need our support as women in helping them to process pain and dissolve that darkness into the light. And I think that's the time that we're moving into.
I love that. I love that. And I couldn't agree more with you. And here from the Tuesday Night Club, the Wise and Ageless Goddesses know well that we don't, there's nothing but an understanding and appreciation of male energy, whether it's our own or the men around us, or the masculinity that we may find around us. I just want to say, Sinead Horgan says that the knees represent resistance in moving forward. The left knee is the past and the right knee is the present. Sinead, thank you for that. That's very interesting. And Trina, yes, Trina Hanna is saying, where do you live, Anna? Can we book in for a treatment? Does it last an hour or so? And how often should you have treatments? And I want to get there, Trina, thank you for asking that question. I want to get there now with you, because just before you give your details, you have plans now for the future. You are beginning to develop your practice. You have...
That's right.
Yes, so do you want to talk about that a little?
Yes, so with Rahani, obviously, you learn this as a modality and you have to practice it for a year before you can move on to do level 2. So I've just completed my level 2, which is practitioner or teacher training. So I can teach it. and do workshops on it. So 6 months after, they asked for a period of 6 months after that. So I just completed that in January. So in June, then I will be doing that. Now I do have I had healing rooms here that I was renting, but the lady that I was renting from has just closed them down for renovation. So I can facilitate somebody. I live in Lucan in Dublin.
Okay.
So I can facilitate somebody in a healing room lease, and I have my setup. I have everything ready to go. I just have to book in my appointments and space and time to do that. But interestingly, what I've been doing for the last couple of months is, since you had Gráinne Tyndall on, I met with Gráinne Tyndall. I had a Zoom call with Gráinne Tyndall, and something very interesting came up in my reading, and she referred me to another lady called Alva Cronin.
Oh, yes.
Who wrote The Bridge of Now. And I have been working with Alva and doing her course, the Bridge of Now course, for the last 6 weeks as well. And she is a Reiki master in Reiki, Golden Terramaya Reiki. So, it's just, again, another divine meeting with another person who's in this work and doing, bringing me out forward in another direction. And it's just been amazing and fascinating. But so you have my contact details, Trina, and if anybody wants to contact me, and
we will add them,
and I could make arrangements with them.
In the next couple of days, I'll be sending out the email, and I'll have Anna's details in that. And then anybody who wants to contact her, please do. And there are a number. And I see Ruth is saying, how do we look into Rahani and make it and try for it ourselves? And you're saying that you're ready, almost totally ready to start teaching it as well. Trina has been saying she's interested and what cost, etc. Trina, I'm going to send you all the details, and you can check in with Anna as well on that. Yes, I mean, everybody that you've mentioned there, all of these doors open up for you. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. You know that. And what I love in this group, there are quite a number of people who are discovering their gifts, their abilities to heal. They're almost sort of opening of the third eye. They're developing hands-on healing, energy healing, Rahani, Reiki, and many others here. Others are doing aromatherapy, acupuncture therapy, and a number of other things. And isn't it interesting that that everybody wants to learn more? Like, it's not about I've got what I'm interested in and that's the end of it. It all seems to lead to this ever expanding, growing, beautiful web of wonderful sharing and opening and expansion within even just our group here. Mary B is saying also, excuse me for jumping in. Okay, is there a book written to explain it to newcomers?
So Caroline Stacey was the first woman who channeled Rahani in the UK. And she did write a book. I'm not sure if it's still available or it's on print, but you can look up the rahani.co.uk website and you can find that there.
Oh, that's great help.
Yeah. And so, it was the Angel Wings Heart Centre in Lucan. Debbie Boyle, she was another guest on here, and I know Debbie.
Oh, we love Debbie, yes.
So it was Debbie that she has a lovely studio here in Lucan, and that's the one that I use as well.
Lovely. Yeah. Okay. Mary B, very interested, looking forward to getting the details. Philippa and Anna, Debbie Boyle Centre is in Lucan, maybe a place you're doing your courses, and maybe that's a conversation that you will have. Thank you for that, Philippa. That's very true as well. I love your story. I'm so grateful to you for coming back and explaining the whole thing so clearly. And obviously you continue to grow. And so there's so much more coming from you. And anybody looking at you can tell that this is an absolute joy to you. This whole wonderful adventure for you is a joy to you, because and we all want a bit of that as well, actually. So thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions before we let Anna go? We're going to go on to meet Karen in a moment, but does anybody have any questions for Anna?
Yeah, I was going to ask, how are her boys?
Lovely question.
My boys are fine. So they have, I have 3 children. I have the oldest boy fine. The other 2 are the ones that were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So they're fine. I mean, they say it's an incurable, life-threatening disease, and it may well be, but, at the end of the day, my son said, Mom, this is something I have. It's not who I am. It doesn't define me as a person. This is just their baggage that they're carrying on their journey. I believe that they believe, you know, there will be a cure, they will find a cure, and because they're open to that, they're not afraid, you know. I was telling Trina last weekend, my son collapsed. He had a hypoglycemic episode. It was quite scary. And I was a half an hour away, nobody could get to him. So I told his best friend just to put him in the recovery position and call an ambulance. I knew I wasn't going to get there for a half an hour. A man came over to them in the shop. My son was obviously unconscious, and he said, "What's wrong with him?" And his friend said, "He's type 1. And he said, "When will the ambulance be here?" And he said, "It'll be here in 12 minutes. And he said, he hasn't got 12 minutes. He ran home. He got the glucagon kit that we use, that I tell my son to carry with him all the time, but he didn't. He came back, he injected my son, and he recovered before the paramedics got there. And I thought, we were bombing down the M50 at 200 miles an hour. And I just said, I'm sending my healing team and angels ahead of me, because there is nothing I can do. And I have to trust. In a million years, you couldn't have put a man in a small, tiny backstreet spa on a quiet Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And there he was. There was an angel who saved my son's life, you know.
Oh, thank God for that.
That's what I believe in. And that's what happens all the time when we believe, when we have faith, and when we trust, you know.
Thank God for that.
What a story. Like, what a story. You could not make that up. It was just such a miracle.
But you trusted. You said
I do.
Trusted. Yes,
I didn't go into fear. I didn't go into fear. I said to my husband, I was trying to breathe. He was bombing along, and I was like, I couldn't even give out to him about his driving. So I was just saying, he's going to be okay. I know he's going to be okay. I could feel it. I could feel he's going to be okay. And he was, you know, he's okay now.
Thank God.
Okay now, you know, but it was, you don't know why these things happen, but when it turned out the way it did, you can trust, everybody can now trust that, you know, we're always protected, we're always guided, there's always somebody there.
And I take it your son will keep his pen with him in future.
Trina, I wish. There's another miracle that I wish I could have.
Well, you know,
you can't tell him anything. He's 19, he's going to be 20, and you just can't tell him a thing. You know, he's 6'2", and I'm trying to look up to him and tell him what to do. I haven't hope, you know. But again, you know, he recovered. It's a physical recovery for him. You know, the glucose has gone from his liver and his muscles and everything, and it's very traumatic physically for him. But now he's walking around, and you're thinking, what do? It's his journey. I have to let him, you know, you have to let go, and you have to let them live their own journey, you know, and with grace and dignity and trust.
Yes. And I will say this, if you ever see anybody speeding down the M50, you know, just get out of their way, because it has dawned on me before that this is somebody who's in a rush, and there may be a very life or death reason why they're rushing. So I'm really glad that you got there in one piece as well. Yeah. Listen, thank you so much, Anna. And listen, here on the Tuesday Night Club, we look forward to hearing more about you. Please come back and tell us as you progress, and as you open up your courses and your workshops and your healing practice. Please come back and let us know.
Thank you so much.
You, because I know, Trina, you say Anna's a very wise woman. You are a very wise woman. You are indeed that. Sandra Oaks says, oh, that's amazing. Thank God. Really enjoyed listening to you this evening, Anna, and thankfully your son was okay. How do you spell Rahani? You've spelled it correctly. Rahanni.
Yeah.
And thank God he's okay. Jackie, very interesting, Anna, and everybody else too. Listen, we're looking forward to hearing so much more. Anna, thank you so much
Trina.
for that.
Thank you so much.
We'll come back to you in the end, and you can say your goodbyes as well. I am now going to move over to another lovely member of the Tuesday Night Club. You are all so fabulous, but I really love that from our own group we have so many interesting people following so many interesting ways of moving through discovering their gifts and listening to their own soul voice. And now we're going to talk to Karen Walsh. Karen, I met about a year ago. We had a conversation on the phone, and so many things have changed in Karen's life over the past 12 months, 18 months. But you can hear, when you hear her speaking, you can hear how it all began a much longer time ago. Karen, are you there?
I'm here, Trina. Thank you.
Hello, lovely. How are you?
I'm good.
Doing all the light behind you. That's wonderful. Nice to see.
Oh, thank you.
Wasn't that fascinating listening to Anna there as well? Isn't it?
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's brilliant to hear like someone else having such a passion for the angels and such trust and belief. So it's fab. Yeah.
Yes.
Really good.
And you would have a similar experience, because one of the things that you said to me was the nudges that you've had, some of them downright fierce over the years.
Yeah. So for me, I suppose at this point, I would say Archangel Michael and my guardian angel are probably like this. They're just absolutely like sick of like trying to give me guidance and advice. And they're like, oh God, here she goes again, do you know? Yeah, for me, I suppose, like my spirituality would have started way back in school. I wanted to be a nun. That didn't happen because I met my beautiful husband when we were kind of teenagers. But I was very interested in angels and spirituality and what happens when you die. So I would always have had that kind of searching in me. I would have met my granddad as a child, and, you know, loads of different things happened to me, but sure, family and friends, and they all just thought I was like, you know, one of these kids that was kind of imagining it, you know, that wasn't happening. So I suppose I kind of ignored that part of me for years and years. Always would have connected with the angels. No matter what happened to me in life, I would depend on the angels and trust. For me, over the years, I went back as a mature student and became a social worker and worked in child protection for a number of years, and in a women's refuge, like quite difficult kind of jobs. And I suppose for me, beginning to kind of become aware of myself, I realized that I'd be very sensitive and I could pick up energies quite quickly and didn't understand how to protect myself. That was probably one of the biggest learnings for me. Over the years, obviously getting into kind of meditation and, you know, connecting with my angels myself, then angel card readings for myself was all about my own care and my own kind of healing over the years and my journey. I've had 2 serious back injuries, one when I was in child protection, and, you know, like that, I would go for kind of healing or physio and all of that stuff, acupuncture, and, you know, constantly being told you're not listening to yourself, you're stressing. I would have been burnt out so many times and just kept running. And over the years, I'd be searching why is this happening? And I'd get well, I'd put so much work into connecting with the angels, asking for healing, getting the healing, and then I would be back to the same type of patterns. So go on, Trina.
Sorry, Karen, one of the things that you actually said to me, which I found very interesting, was that when those kind of stops came, you were still physically well. So although on one occasion you hurt your back, but you were, when I say physically well, you were actually able to, you said you made curtains for the house, you took care of other, you actually caught up on other things that needed attention. So you weren't rest at all. You weren't actually resting, were you?
I would have been kind of very independent and very strong and really, you know, have a good work ethic. So I would have been frustrated for probably the beginning of all my illnesses, that I wanted to get back to work and this is what you do. And so I would have put a lot of pressure on myself. I'd be very critical of myself, which has been huge learning as well. And I'd be my own worst enemy in a way. Oh, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do. So because I was off work and okay, I had a physical ailment, I thought, sure, like I'll get decorators in, I'll redo the house and I'll do this and do that. So I never ever sat. As much as I talk the talk, I tell people to go in, I tell people, I give so much guidance, you know, in the job even, I'd hear myself counseling people and I'd be saying, God, wow, if you only listen to your own guidance and advice. So I was always externally looking for help and looking for what is going on with me instead of actually stopping and going within. And I have gone within over the years, and I would always know when catastrophes happened in my life, the only way that ever brought me out of anything, the darkness, was the angels. It was absolutely the angels, full stop. And, you know, over the years, like I've had bouts of depression and, you know, I've had to go for counseling for myself. But again, it was always searching. I'd go to counseling for a period of time, and then I was like, no, I'm back to square one, because I would go back to work and I would be back to trying to save everybody, I suppose. And I suppose I work now in palliative care. So a year and a half ago, I got COVID, and this is what has me here. I got COVID and I became very, very unwell. And prior to that, the back injury, I had 2 back injuries, I had a leg injury, it was all these things, and I was getting signs all the time to stop, slow down, slow down. And I suppose palliative care for me, I absolutely find it amazing, and it's so brilliant, and such people that you meet at such you know, difficult times in their life, it's just such an honor sometimes. But I suppose for me, again, I gave and gave and gave of myself from that empty cup. And getting COVID, it's 1.5 years now, and, you know, I still am recovering, I'm still healing. But I can say now, it's probably been the best thing that happened, because the difference is this time around, all the physical ailments I was on, you know, I was on crutches, you know, I was in a wheelchair a number of years ago for 4 months because of the back injury. But getting COVID, what happened was I got inflammation in my brain, as well as my lungs, my brain got affected. So therefore, for definitely about 6, maybe 7 months, I actually couldn't bear noise. I couldn't have conversations. I couldn't listen to podcasts. You know, if the family were here, we could only have one person talk to me at a time, which was so difficult, so horrendous. And again, my pattern, Trina, I'm very guilty again, as I said, looking at myself, and it was like, I want to get back to work. But I was so unwell that I just thought, if I can get back to work, I'll be better. And that was not the case. And I will say, having a conversation with yourself a year ago, I was really at a point that I was struggling. And you know, I'd gone for therapy again, because that loss of independence, I couldn't, you know, one of your guests there, Teresa Alford, is a good friend of mine. And she used to come here to try and just even help, just, you know, get me ready or dressed. My husband used to have to help me up and down the stairs. And, you know, if he brought me downstairs, I had to stay there till he came home. I couldn't manage the stairs. And even at that point, I actually couldn't even do my angel cards. I couldn't. There was nothing left. Literally all I could do was just sit and watch, you know, with a lovely tree, as you can see behind me, and the birds. So I had to sit and take stock of my body. And physically, I couldn't do much for months. But as I started to heal and had a conversation with yourself, I remember you saying to me, you know, do you think you're stopping yourself from getting better? You know, so you don't have to go back to work. And I was like, wow, what? Like, if my husband had have only heard that, he'd been like nearly dragging me back to work. I was like, but it made me really, really think, because prior to that, I was like all about getting better to get back to work. And then as I noticed I was starting to get well, and I was starting to connect with Archangel Michael and my guardian angel, I realized actually work is not the place for me right now. There was no absolute way. And my occupational health doctor is amazing. And he was like, absolutely not. But yeah, each time it came to going to occupational health or my consultant, I was nearly petrified. In the beginning, it was like, yeah, I want to go back to work. I was arguing. And then it was like, I was so unwell that actually the only thing was helping was connecting with the angels. And therefore, if I went back to work, I couldn't sit and connect and go in and meditate and spend time on myself. So it was really, really fearful. And I honestly can say, if I hadn't have got the connection with the angels myself, I would have never probably got through it, because there was periods like I attended my GP that were really dark. And that's why I did pay to go for therapy at that particular time. And that was the loss of independence, the loss of all of that stuff. And look, you know, I'm really grateful I'm here. We all know what COVID has done to families and their loved ones all over, you know. So I've been really, really lucky. And, you know, in a way, becoming so ill has been a blessing. And I can't believe I'm saying that, you know.
Yeah, but it strikes me also that from the moment that you realized this, that this is your opportunity, and that the only thing that was working for you, the only time you were feeling better, was when you were slowing down, listening to your inner voice, connecting with the angels and with source, and you're well practiced in all of those things.
Yeah.
That then things began to change, and other things started to come into you as well, other influences as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about where it's all led to?
Yeah, so you know, as I said, we go right back to childhood and angel cards, and it's always been angel cards and it's meditation. And again, you know, I go back and forth, and I probably have, you know, stages that I'd be way more connected and go to meditation classes and stuff. And a number of years ago, my mum died in 2010. And so because of my belief in afterlife and, you know, connecting with your loved ones, of course, I was chasing and searching, like anybody that is bereaved and grieving. And I went from one medium to another medium, and kind of thinking, oh, you know, that one might be good and that one might not. And depending, I was getting references or whatever. And over time, you know, connecting myself and connecting, you know, doing my own meditation, I realized that actually I had been connecting all along with, you know, my own loved ones in spirit. And but I thought that was just, you know, a sense around me. And I thought everybody does this. So I went for a reading again, and a number of years ago, maybe about 7-8 years ago, and I had been struggling with a really bad migraine, really bad. And I thought it was the stress of work, the burnout of work, you know, and I was working long hours, and I wasn't coming home with the way I should. And I wasn't minding myself probably the way I should, Trina. And I thought it was that. And when I said it to this guy, he was like, it's not a migraine. You're on medication. You shouldn't be. You're connecting with the spirit world. You're getting downloads from them. And I thought, what a load of bull. To be honest, I was like, yeah, right. What a load of like, and honestly, I came home, and I will say one thing though, en route to this guy, I said in my car very clearly, honestly, I said, Archangel Michael, if this guy is good, I would need you to let me know you're there. And one of the first things he did say to me, that's why I think I would have believed anything in a way he said. He said to me, you believe in angels? I said, I do. He said, well, Archangel Michael just wants me to let you know he's here.
Wow.
So that was like, as much as he told me I was like connecting with spirit, I was like, But then when I came home and thought, oh my goodness, I have asked Archangel Michael to let me know if this guy is being the real deal and if he's true. And how can I doubt this? Why am I being so skeptical now? And so I'd been teaching meditation at that time, you know, to kind of friends and family. And as it went on, within weeks, you know, my grandparents came through for an aunt of mine, and I was telling you this, Trina, and I remember seeing it, and I was thinking, I am imagining this. I'm actually bringing this, you know, to my own imagination because I want it to happen. And I sat there, and I'll be completely honest, I was good. I was like, oh my God, they're here for her and they're not saying nothing to me. It was like I was a complete stranger, that they didn't know me. And it was a learning to me, because a little bit of me, my ego was getting in the way, and my ego was wanting to let me aunt think, well, they're here for me as well. They love me as well as her. They weren't there for me. So I would have been completely lying. And I remember going back to this guy afterwards and said, why did they come through for her? My grandparents, I loved them too. And he was like, it was nothing to do with you. You were just the conduit for them. And that was huge, because as I said, my ego was getting in the way, thinking, oh, I can't just say they're here for her, like they've left me out. And it was nothing like that. And so that's 7-8 years ago. And I suppose, Trina, now it's really interesting, because I've done lots of work, you know, I have one-to-one mentorship and stuff, and I do readings a lot. And the thing is, before I got COVID, I was like that. I'd plan, oh, I'll give someone a reading, I'll give someone a reading. And it was always practice, it was always for development, but I was cancelling all the time. I was like, I'm really sorry, ringing people last minute. I'm caught late in work, and I'm caught late. And because I work in palliative care, people were dying. I always neglected myself, my passions, my family, because, oh, such a person is dying, I can't leave, I have to, you know, I have to stay. And so for a couple of years before COVID, I was not really putting the effort in that I should have been to develop myself. And I was doing lots of Zoom breakout kind of rooms and courses with like lots of different mentorships from the Arthur Findlay College in London. And like that, on 1 or 2 occasions when they'd asked me to give a reading to someone, I honestly will be completely honest, I literally knocked off my computer one night and had to text and pretend that my Wi-Fi had gone. I was absolutely so scared, because I couldn't trust myself. And with COVID now, the difference, being so sick, has made me look at myself and think, okay, so why do I want to give someone a mediumship or a psychic reading? And it's not about me. It's absolute nothing to do with me. As Anna said, you know, you're just a channel. And the ultimately why I want to give people readings or healing, I do angelic healing, it's for their benefit, it's for their healing, and for someone to come through from the spirit world and give their loved one a message that they're still with them, that they're still around them. And you know, people come to me with expectations that they want to hear a certain thing, or they want to hear from a certain person. And that doesn't happen. What happens is the spirit world are so intelligent. They already know who's coming for a reading, and they get what they need to hear, you know, and being so sick has made me now just stand in my own power and get out of my own way and think, what ridiculous time wasting I've been doing for years and years. Do you know?
In there, Karen, though, I'm not sure, when you're talking, it's almost as if, I mean, when you said that you ended up in palliative care and you had been at the coalface of really people who were desperately vulnerable and really needed you up until that point, obviously. But
Yeah.
do you not think in palliative care that you were actually at the coalface of where the angels needed you to be? That it was almost an initiation or a rite of passage for you to work with the dying, those passing over? I imagine that your experiences were quite profound being with people at that kind of time, and it's quite possible that you needed that, so maybe it wasn't being wasted at all. That's just my opinion, I don't know.
Oh, and when I say wasted, Trina, I don't even mean that derogatory or anything. I mean that I could have been doing it alongside my palliative care job, and I wasn't, because I was so exhausted constantly, because I wasn't minding my own energy. I wasn't protecting myself, and I was picking up energies all the time in work, people's fear, people, all of that stuff. And that was why I didn't really put the time into the readings. And absolutely, like, I would never want to work anywhere else. If I wasn't going to do readings and healing, for myself and for other people, I never ever want to work anywhere else except palliative care. That's where I'm meant to be, except now for...
It's a different kind. Yeah, you're at another angle. Well, Trina Hannon sorry, just want to go back and can I just say to iPhone, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Thank you for that note, and I'm sure Anna has made a note of it there. Elizabeth said, we often teach best what we need to learn. Yes, thank you. Trina said, palliative care, relieving pain. You have walked the walk. You really know it from both sides. You're perfectly placed to support others on their journey. Trina, I couldn't agree more. And Teresa, your good friend, has said you've done a reading for her, and the person who came, she did not know, you didn't know at all, but that everything that you told Teresa was so very true. Thank you, Teresa, for that. Miriam, you're saying definitely palliative care is so special, and the people that do that have a true vocation. That is true too. Thank you. And I saw, can I just say, iPhone, I saw that your hand was up at one stage, so I imagine, I'm just going to briefly say this, sorry, Karen. Albert Schweitzer was head of diabetes was healed of diabetes by Dr. Gerson's protocol, and it's in the Charlotte Gerson book, and I'm sure you saw that. Others, it may be that some others of you here in this group needed to see that, so I just want to point it out to you, and please make note of it. Nobody puts anything by accident. Everything in this group has something for someone else, and thank you, Miriam, for that comment too. I want to get back to you. So now you are leading groups in meditation, you are doing mentoring programs, you are doing your healing work, you're working with the angels, and you are doing your mediumship work. You're bringing messages of comfort to people from their loved ones on the other side. What part of that, is it all of it or some of it or most of it? What part of it is it that you get most pleasure from?
I would say, given a reading to someone from their loved one in spirit, I just think, I know what it's like to be bereaved. We've had a lot of bereavements, and definitely losing my mum was devastating. So to be able to give people such comfort and, that kind of message, and again, it's not me, to be able just to help and be of service to the spirit world, for me, that is the absolute, it just is amazing. I will say, Trina, it flows, right? It ebbs and flows with my own healing, because I'm still, unfit for work, and I have blood clots in the blood vessels in my brain at the minute. So I'm not able to go back to work because obviously the stress in the job. So it's interesting, because I really would love lots of readings, and yet lots of friends and family come to me for angelic healing. And I'm saying that to the tutor, the guy that I mentor, who mentors me, and he's saying, okay, so therefore you need healing. So every time someone is coming to me for healing, I am healing myself more and more. And I wasn't aware of that before, until this. And then, so I seem to kind of feel well, you know, feel okay for a period. And then I get people that come for readings. It's very fascinating. And then after a little bit, I might crash. So I listen to my body now. That's the difference. I listen because I need to rest. There is some days throughout the week that I might end up in the bed, you know, for kind of a day or 2 days or 3 days, depending. Fatigue is still a huge issue, and just my mobility. But it's, for me, I love the healing because you're bringing the angels through. I'm attuned to the angels, and Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, you know, all the angels are there delivering. And as Anna said, the benefits and the healing that you can see happen to people. So as much as I would say readings, yes, but then the healing. So it's brilliant that I'm getting kind of a mixture of both. And the meditation class is amazing because that helps me prep constantly for meditation. So it helps me get back into slowing down and going within and meditating for myself more. So yeah, it's really powerful.
Great. Lovely. And Trina is saying, where are you based, Karen?
So I'm just off Black Horse Avenue in Dublin 7.
Now, but you're also doing the meditation work out of somewhere else. Where are you doing?
I'm doing that in actually Cabra at the minute. It's actually in the GAA club there, Finbars. I was looking for a room around, I was doing it from my home, which is not great depending on the many people you have, but it's something that I really wanted because it's friends and family it started with, and then, you know, a friend of my daughter's would come along or someone else would come along, so it was getting too much. And so I do it out with Finbars at the minute. They've been very, very kind to facilitate a room. It is upstairs in, you know, kind of a GAA club. So I've got beautiful, beautiful tapestries. Amazon is amazing, you know, lovely chakra blankets and stuff like that. Nature to cover in the bar. So we have our own little private section. So it's nice and holistic. You know, I'll do for now.
You pour into the bar afterwards.
No.
You might set up a whole new trend. But that does sound absolutely lovely. And you know something, build it and they will come. I honestly think
absolutely.
You know.
And you know, Trina, can I just say, like, you know, during all of this, like, even from my thinking, you know, that conversation with yourself and, you know, like me, just when my brain was able to start back listening to audibles or podcasts or reading, I love A Course in Miracles and, you know, Carl Gray's stuff all about angels and stuff. And, you know, A Course in Miracles says like a change in perception is a miracle. And that was the thing, because I was looking at being sick as being the worst thing on the planet. I was so angry with myself. And you know, I caught COVID in work from a patient's family member. Unfortunately, she got through her temperature machines. So I was doing my job. I hadn't had COVID at all up until then. But I was looking at this as being the enemy, and I had no compassion. For months, the hospital and the consultants were saying, be kind to yourself, have compassion, have compassion. And I was so cross. I was like, if they say this to me once more, like, you know, my life has stopped. And I always kind of thought, okay, there's lots of people that have lost loved ones through COVID. So, you know, have a bit of gratitude, you know, because gratitude is everything. And it was my change in perception when I started to look at this as being a learning curve and a way of actually connecting back with me. That was where it changed. That was the shift. And that comes from A Course in Miracles. It was that shift in perception.
Love it.
Yeah.
And as Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, what you look at changes. And for me, that is the secret to everything. Thank you so much for sharing. Anne Finnegan says, Teresa says, Karen, you do your readings on Zoom as well. That's good.
Yeah.
Look, and exactly tomorrow as well, or whenever you get the email, you'll have Karen's details too. And also, Karen, you're and please, Anna, you give us your details as well. Karen is on Instagram under Angelic Healing 101. How on earth did you get that as an Instagram handle? That's wonderful.
Yeah. Do you know, like that, it was me just trying to heal and recover. And, you know, I was really connecting with the angels, and I'd send people, you know, a message, depending on the card I'd pick. So my son, who is amazing, he is 33 and he's a fabulous, fabulous soul. He's an old soul, honestly. He actually said to me, you know, kind of last summertime, you know, I'm tired of you kind of hiding your light. And I was like, wow, like, Jesus, but I'm off work sick, and it's not that I'm hiding. And, you know, and he was like, no, absolutely. But the amount of people that knock on my door here for guidance, just neighbors, friends, whatever, do you know, and And he said, you know, we set up, I'm not great. I will be honest, I'm not great on Instagram. I'm still learning. I'm deleting half of my stuff rather than putting it up sometimes. But he set it up as a way that I could put up an angel card every day. And literally, it's brilliant because in a way it helps me give guidance. And sometimes it's just gratitude. It's about putting a good intention out there and, you know, what are you grateful for today? So, you know, it's kind of linking with people and yeah, it's helping a lot of, well, I mean, I don't have loads of followers, you know, but for those that I do, I've done readings for people, you know, throughout Ireland, or I've done some in America. And yeah, like they only found me on Instagram. So that has been fab.
Ah, clever. And the rest of you listening to that, that's really interesting. So finding that little niche. Well, I do think Angelic Healing 101 is a wonderful title. Well done on getting that. Jackie says she could listen to you forever. It's amazing. Sandra Owens is saying, amazing, Karen, you're on your true path and would love to get a reading sometime. And thank you for tonight. Wonderful. So you'll get those details. Trina says, Karen, you look like you're 33. Can you believe, I can't believe your son is that age. And she's 100% right. The rest of us kind of going, Jesus, son, 33.
You know, I'm actually in this wise and ageless goddess kind of age group too, people. I'm actually 51.
Oh, listen, you're not so well. Okay, you're very definitely wise.
Yeah.
Let me see. Found this fascinating, Mary B. Thank you. But can we go back to you, because you did speak there about the shift in perception, and I know, and you are a leader of meditation and that. And I think I don't know what you feel like doing now, or what's part. How would you like to take the next few minutes for yourself?
So I will be honest with everybody. I had spoke to Trina, and I was going to offer a mediumship reading, but I suppose because it's on Zoom and some people haven't got their cameras on, so if I was connecting with spirit world, people would have to be, because it's a demonstration, people would have to be putting their hands up and accepting what I'm saying, and we'd have to be trying to cipher out who the reading is for. So I was thinking a lot about it today, and I just thought, actually, do you know what? But that means one person gets a reading, and okay, it's amazing for that one person and for me connecting with spirit, but actually, ultimately, I wanted to do something for the entire group. So I'm going to lead you through a meditation, which is a meditation for healing, and it is about changing your perception, if that's okay. So it's only going to be 5 or 7 minutes, maybe, Trina, that I can talk you through. Would that be okay for everyone?
Absolutely. And we keep everybody on, they're all on mute anyway. We're all on mute. Thank you very much. Just before you go there, because I think when you finish that, then we'll finish up. And I do want to do this. Anne Doyle says, so interesting. And thank you so much to everyone. Elizabeth's 2 amazing and inspirational ladies tonight. And thank you so much. And Miriam, thank you. So listen, everybody, if you feel like it, you can turn off your cameras. So is that okay, Karen?
Absolutely. Whatever people are comfortable with.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Lovely, thank you.
So I would ask you all to just sit back and relax. You know, try and kind of unfold your legs if they're crossed at the minute, and just keep your palms open and onto your lap. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and let it out through your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose and all the way down to the base of your abdomen. And then let it go. So I would ask, where in your life do you feel like you are holding yourself back? Because you can't see past or through something. Call Archangel Raphael into your vision to help you see things differently. In order for you to step into the mindset of miraculous, allow the healing to occur. Allow the healing to occur right now, today. So what is it you're being limited by? As I was saying, a change of perception is a miracle in itself. So what is it you're being limited by? Think about that right now. Take a moment to sit up nice and tall and to see what you are being limited by. Think about the situation, the person that could be holding you back. Just breathe. Breathe in, take nice deep breaths and let it out. And as you think about the person, the situation, think about the energy surrounding that situation or that person. How restrictive it may feel. And as you breathe deeper and deeper, imagine that you are drawing down into you golden light. The golden light coming down through the head, through your crown chakra. And this light is coming from the angels. It's coming towards you and the situation and people or person that are involved in the situation. Then in your mind, say this prayer. Archangel Raphael, thank you for drawing close to me at this time and for correcting my vision so that I may see things differently. Archangel Raphael, thank you for drawing close at this time and for correcting my vision so that I may see things differently. Deep breaths in and let them out. And then thank you, Archangel Raphael, for drawing close at this time and for correcting my vision so that I may see things differently. I am willing to see through the eyes of love. I am willing to see through the eyes of my angel. I make way for miracles. I make way for miracles. So now, keeping your eyes closed, still relaxed, rub your palms together and then place them over your eyes. And say in your mind, thank you, Archangel Raphael, for placing your healing hands upon my eyes. I am ready to see the light. I am ready to see the light. So bring your hands down to your heart and feel the healing and love from Archangel Raphael and your guardian angel. And say, thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you, guardian angel. And now you have made way for miracles. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in, let it out, and you can open your eyes when you're ready. And remember, folks, your intention is everything. So putting an intention out to the angels, Archangel Raphael, the healing angels, to help you change your perception about anything, about any kind of issue, stress, an argument with someone, it can help you just change the situation. You can decide to forgive someone, rather than holding a grudge. So intention is everything. So thank you all.
There, Karen, thank you so much. I know everybody appreciated that. It was absolutely beautiful. What a gorgeous way to kind of end this day, which was turned out to be so beautiful. Carmelita says she really appreciates that. Trina says a super night. Teresa has said thank you. Let me see, thank you all. Gail, thank you, Gail. Thank you for your questions as well. Carmelita, thank you, Karen. And Tori, thank you. And look, and thank you very much. That's all the details now to get in touch with Karen and with Anna are there, and you'll get them in the next day or so. Love that. Some people are able to, I don't know how you do that, Ruth. You put up this lovely little heart. It's very nice. I don't know where you
Just
get that.
press reactions.
Let me see, reactions. Oh, look at that. Okay, so there you go. I got you. That's lovely. I've done it. And wonderful. Mary B says, so glad she joined this evening. I'm really glad you joined us too, Mary B. That was really lovely to get you here. So look, everybody, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I very much look forward. I'm saying it to you as well, Karen, and I said it to Anna as well earlier, that I really am looking forward to finding out, watching you grow and expand and all the wonderful things that are coming this way as you mentioned it there, that people come to you, and your son said to you, don't be hiding your light. Well, Anna really gave us the wonderful example of the lighthouse there earlier. And I think that's really super. You're there like a lighthouse, a beacon of light. People will find you. And very often, you know, as we go through our days and our lives, the word here and a kindness there will shift completely the perspective in not only your own life, but in somebody else's. And we don't know that. A little like the lighthouse, you don't know how you affect other people by being the example of what you wish for them in this world. So thank you, everybody. Wishing you all so much love and have a wonderful Easter. I just have two things to say before you go. I'm so sorry. Nina Katie, whom many of you know, who was on after Christmas, she, a number of you had got in touch and asked her to let them know when she had a workshop available. She has one now, and details of it, you will find it on her website or on her page. And I think also in an image that I sent to you in one of the emails, or maybe both of the emails. Anyway, she has a special price for Tuesday Night Club members. It is 185 euros. It's over 2 separate days, 2 separate Sundays or 2 separate Saturdays. And her price for Tuesday Night Club members is 150 euros. So that's something that you might want to look at. The other thing I want to say to you is Georgina Goulding, who spoke with us about her menopause experience and transition, and she had quite a lot of wonderful supplements and behaviors and foods that she ate and that kind of thing. Georgina, when she spoke with us that night back in, I think it was November, maybe the end of November, she was talking to us and using what she had hoped to use as her presentation, which she has now used. So I can now open her recording to the Wise and Ageless Goddess YouTube channel. If anyone wants to go to that, to go back and revisit a number of the wonderful supplements and things that she suggested, I'll be opening that up from tomorrow. That's Georgina Goulding. So everything that we've got is on the Wise and Ageless Goddess YouTube channel. And those of you who are here, and tell your friends, please press the subscribe button on that, and we start building our wonderful group, even for people just coming to look at the YouTube videos that we put up. So look, everybody, have a wonderful Easter. Take the beautiful energy of that gorgeous meditation and of the wonderful celestial presence that these Anna and Karen brought with them for us all this evening. And then I'll have details of how you can contact them afterwards. So take good care of yourselves. Karen, thank you so much again.
Thank you, Trina. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and the best of luck with everything. And Anna, thank you so much as well, and good luck with everything that you're doing, and we look forward to seeing you both again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. It was lovely.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.